Hi, so I've been saying this all day, but in that first Strangers movie, it stuck in my brain about the stranger being in the back of a car. And so ever since I look back when I get in a car. But what I love about this movie is there is a car scene. They get in the car and the first thing they do is check the back seat of the car. And I don't know if that was a nod, but I loved that. Were there inventive ways that you guys kind of worked to make these scares even scarier, because that first movie had so many inventive kind of ways to scare audiences?
Yes, definitely. I'm a big fan of the original film, and my task was to take that premise and expand it to these three movies and give the audience hopefully that same sense of dread and that same experience as they had with the original, but do it in our own way. Have certain markers there that mark the way, so it's called The Strangers, so we're not, going on our own ego trip and creating something completely different. But of course, there was a lot to learn from that film, like why certain things work so fantastically, and then we worked hard in trying to create our own version of that, so that we are not copying the scenes shot by shot or anything like that, but we copy that feeling, and so. Definitely there were those situations where okay, let's presume that the people who enjoy this film, they've seen the original, so when you go in the car, you have to check the back seat, because the audience is going to go what about the back seat? So okay, we're going to check that. We know, we got it. So there's a lot of those situations, and then there's situations like, for example, the shower scene, where obviously showers have been used throughout cinema since Hitchcock a million times, but my goal was okay, how do we do a shower scene that captures that incredibly, there's a fly around me, that captures that incredible feeling of the first movie, which is you think you lock the doors, you're safe, but they are already inside. So how do I do that, but in a new way? And that was the key to really, really carefully designing a shower scene where we are in the same shot all the time, but it's revealed to the audience that the stranger is there, and it's kind of, I would think of every person's greatest fear is that somebody's observing you when you're in the shower. It's just horrible to even think about. Yeah. So yeah, we worked hard on those things.
And I also love too the use of music in this movie. I think it's very interesting just because it is an older cabin and there is the record player, but records have also been making a comeback. People have gotten really into them. But with this movie and music in particular, was there any kind of music that you really wanted to try and use to capture that eerie feeling while we're in the house with these people?
Yes, it's a combination of actually using even some of the same music that was used in the original movie when it is coming from the record player, and having this music that is on its own, it's not scary at all, but when it's played in that house, in that situation, it becomes really eerie and bizarre. And then when it comes to the score, what the actual composer did, which so easily and importantly in many movies, particularly in horror movies, the score directs the audience emotions. You can show an empty room or a person in a room, and based on the music, you got to feel like, oh, there's a lot of tension, it's scary, something is about to happen, or it's happy and it's happy thoughts. And in this case, I wanted the composer to do a score that is less melodic and more atmospheric. So it all adds to that sense of reality in the scenes, instead of oh, let's take it away and play a beautiful, beautiful big score. I wanted it to feel real. And in many cases, actually, when we were doing the final mix of the movie, we would actually take the music out. I would say, let's try it without music, just with sound effects. And it kind of forces the audience to actually be in the scene, in the reality of the scene, instead of kind of getting this free pass. Oh, the music is carrying movie. It's a movie. When there's no music, it's oh shit, it's like real life, and it feels actually scarier.
Yeah, I love it so much. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you, Rachel.